internship at an NGO for my grad school program. And when I told people I was heading to India, the usual responses I got was, holy shit, it's going to be hot. And you're totally going to get sick. And so even the travel doctor confirmed this. She gave me my shots and she said, you know, just at some point, you're probably going to be vomiting and diarrhea. So it's normal, it's fine, you're going to be all right. So she gave me some medicine just as a preemptive, so I had it just in case it happened, and packed that up, and I just decided I was going to be super careful of what I ate, what I drank, and I would, you know, fly off on my way. So, but when you're there, I mean, you really don't have necessarily control over everything you're eating. When my roommate or when my coworkers were like, this is delicious, you have to try it, you've never been here before. You can't be rude and say no. So, of course, you would just take it and then say, like, think to myself, like, well, see how this comes out of me later. So, I actually did pretty well. I actually never really got sick. There was one slight day where I actually pooped 6 times in one day. But other than that, it was perfectly fine, and I don't know how my body even produced that much solid waste in one day, but otherwise I was perfectly fine and I felt great. So, until about 1 week before I was scheduled to leave at the end of August, I was in the shower and I felt this weird lump in the anal region. And it freaked me out a lot because I've never felt something like that before. So obviously, naturally, I went to Google. So I Googled anal lump. And I was convinced I had a parasite. And if you're a little squeamish, you might want to close your ears for a second because Google convinced me that I had this worm inside my intestine that would come out as I slept, down my colon, and lay eggs around my butthole. So I was absolutely grossed out, freaked out beyond my belief. I couldn't even sleep. My roommate said, you should go to the hospital and get this checked out. They deal with expats all the time. They speak English really well. You should go there. So the next day I went to the doctor. You can make an appointment online. I was like, this is going to be great. They're going to solve this. So I went to the doctor, got an appointment. I walked in, sat down. The doctor was probably about 70-year-old Indian man. And he said, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I said, I think I have a parasite. He looks at me and he says, what's wrong? I said, I think I have a parasite. And he said, what's wrong? And I mean, how do you really say, like, I just really need you to look at my butthole? You know, trying to regain some dignity and just say, I think I have a parasite. So at that moment, he says, go get the nurse to translate. I mean, so I go and get the nurse, she comes in, realizing that he probably wants me to tell him, like, why I think I have a parasite. So I say, okay, I was in the shower, I felt this lump, and I Googled it, and I shouldn't have Googled it, but I Googled it, and I saw these photos, and I really freaked out, so now I think I have a parasite. And I just really need you to look at it. So, of course, his next logical question to me was, are you married? And I said, no, I'm not married, but I mean, I have a boyfriend in the United States, but no, I'm not married. And so he tells the nurse to go out and get some gloves, and you know, I get up on the table, drop my pants, wet cheeks, and he quickly confirms for me that no, I don't have a parasite. There's no worms. And so then he asks, you know, his next question is to tell the nurse to, you know, maybe please go get a flashlight. And I could tell he wants to ask me something, but he didn't really want to maybe ask it in front of the nurse. So then once she's out of the room, he asks me a question. I say, what? And he asks again, and I say, I really don't understand what he's saying. And he says it again, and then I realize, oh my God. He just said, have you ever had sodomy? And I was like, well, I've had anal sex before, if that's what you're asking. But I've been here for 3 months, and I haven't even had sex since I've been here, so I think I'm okay. But The nurse comes back in, and she checks me out, and he says, his diagnosis comes in, and he says, you don't have a parasite, you're fine. He writes me a little prescription for a topical cream, and then, pats me on the shoulder. He says, you're a good girl. No more anal sex for you. No unnatural sex. And he sends me out the door. He says, come back in 2 days so I can check it. And I was really kind of weirded out by the whole experience, and I said, okay, thank you very much. And I sure as hell never went back.